everyone, welcome to this new video. So summer is already fully going on and I thought this would be the perfect moment to share my ultimate reading list for this summer. So there are some books that I really love that I've read during the summer before and that I think you should definitely read if you are a romance lover. So I thought I'd share those with you in this video, and then I'm also going to share which books I'm planning on reading this summer. There are a few that I'm really hoping to read. So let's get started. The first book is one that I've recently read, which is The Layover by Lacey Walden. This book follows Ava and Jack, and Ava holds a bit of a grudge against Jack, but when they get assigned to be the crew on a trip together, she has to kind of get over that, and she gets to know him and she learns that he is not really who he says he is or who she thought he was. And then they get stuck in a destination and they grow closer together, they have fun adventures, and I just think this book is really fun. It's a very, if you're like into the whole flight attendant trope, that's definitely going on in this, but it's also a kind of island vibes, it has summer vibes, it's a kind of miscommunication vibe, which I'm not really a big fan of, but it's kind of, it's okay in this. The beginning was a bit slow for me. I kind of was dreading this because the book starts with her still having a relationship, which mostly goes on through most of the book, but before she falls for Jack, the relationship does end. So that's kind of a tricky subject for me because I don't really like when there's still an ongoing relationship in a book, but it was okay in this because it ended at the right time. But still, that was kind of a minus point, but the vibes in this were good enough to make it a really nice summer read. This is like the perfect book to bring to the beach. The next book is The Summer Girl by Elle Kennedy. This book is very American, coastal, kind of Cape Cod, New Hampshire vibes, which I really liked. It's kind of giving the summer I turned pretty, and it follows a girl who goes back to not really her hometown, but the town where her family basically lives and where her grandmother has a house, and she goes there. She has a lot of stuff going on with her family, and then she meets this guy who she's like determined to hook up with. She wants him to be her summer fling, but they're kind of like not doing that, and he kind of does not want to do it because she's too much of a girlfriend material for him and he likes her too much. But eventually they do grow closer together and fall in love, and I really love this book. Like, there was nothing about this book that I disliked, and I just think the vibes are really well done. I think it's really well written. I mostly just love the whole New Hampshire, Cape Cod, those type, like the coastal American types of books. That's The Summer I Turned Pretty is one of my favorites as well. I just love those vibes, and I think this book really well executed that. I love the tropes in this, just the whole it's kind of friends to lovers, and I really like that. It's also about Cassie kind of finding herself and learning how to stand up for herself and to achieve what she wants, basically, and I think that's really well done. Next is You With a View by Jessica Joyce. I've read this book quite a while ago, but it's still in my mind because it was so good. So it follows Noelle and Theo, and they are kind of academic rivals, and they go way back, and she's kind of a failure. She's failed in her career, in her education, whatever, and she kind of feels like a failure with no goal in life. So then she goes to find her grandmother's former lover, who so that's not her grandfather, but someone who she dated before her grandfather, and she goes to find him because she found letters and photos from them together, and she wants to know what the story is. So she tracks him down, and it turns out this is Theo's grandfather, and eventually the three of them go on a trip that the grandmother and his grandfather planned together before they broke up all those years ago, and they go on this trip and they grow close together. It's kind of forced proximity, and I just really love that about this book. It was so wholesome, it was found family, and it was academic rivals to lovers, and they go way back, and I just love this so much. And the characters in this are really well done as well. The scene is really nice because it's on the west coast. They go to national parks, they go hiking. I think that's really cute, and I think it's a really overall really original story. it also leans into kind of the modern trends because she goes viral on TikTok with the letters and therefore she finds him. So I think that's also something that's really fun to see. That's not included in books a lot, and usually I don't like it, but it was really well done in this. So I really like this and I definitely think you should read this summer. I think by now everyone knows this book. It's Beach Read by Emily Henry, but it's still one of my favorite beach or summer books, and it follows two writers, January and Gus, and they both go to this kind of lake town where they both rent a house, or I think it's January's father's house. I don't really remember, it's been a long time since I read it, but they are both kind of having a writer's block, so to get rid of that they switch projects. So Gus will write January's book and January will write his book, and they help each other with that. So they go on dates for Gus's book that he writes for January, and Gus takes January to like this golf thing, and they kind of help each other and they grow really close together and get rid of their writer's block, and it's just a really fun idea. It's really well written. I feel like all of Emily Henry's books are good, that's why she's so popular. But yeah, this is one of her earlier books and it's still one of the favorites I've ever read, and I just love revisiting this during the summer. They're kind of academic rivals as well, or like workplace rivals. They're not really working in the same place, but they are rivals because of their work that they are in. And yeah, I just love that trope so much, and I think this one really well executed that. Next is another book that I just can't stop talking about, which is What Happens After Midnight by K.L. Walter. So this book follows Lily, and she is in her senior year of high school, I think. They are in a boarding school, and she has just broken up with her boyfriend, which is something that I don't usually love. I don't like second chance romance, but this one does it really well. And they kind of have like this senior year prank going on, and they have to find out who did that, and then they go on a nightly kind of I don't know how to explain it, but they go on this nightly adventure and they go through all these things, and she grows closer together to her ex-boyfriend and to her friends, and it's a very much like a mystery but also a second chance romance, and I think that's really fun. I also like that this basically all happens in one night, which I mean, it says what happens after midnight. So it all happens basically in one night, and that's what I really love. And as you can see, the books are like divided in clues, which is also really fun. It's really original, and I just love the vibes of this, the whole boarding school vibes, the whole, yeah, second chance romance. Although I'm not a big fan of that, it was really well done in this, and I just love rereading this. Next is another book by K.L. Walter, and I feel like everyone knows this one as well, but I just can't stop thinking about this one either. It's The Summer of Broken Rules. It's, I think, one of the most popular books that you have to read in the summer, but it's so good. It is on Martha's Vineyard, which is very Cape Cod kind of coastal vibes, and it follows a family vacation, and it's about Meredith has lost her sister, and she kind of goes back to her family vacation. It's like a wedding, and there they have like this game, and on Martha's Vineyard she meets a guy who's a groomsman for the wedding, and she kind of becomes really good friends with him, and they do this game of, it's kind of like tag, but I don't really know how to explain it, but it's really fun. You'll just have to read it, believe me. And they grow closer together, they become really good friends, but then they also fall in love with each other. And once again, I just love the vibes of this mostly. I think the romance was really well done. There were a lot of Taylor Swift references, which is also something that I always love. Just the whole Martha's Vineyard vibe was really well done. I also kind of liked the trauma in this, and how she kind of gets over that and she finds herself again, because she was really struggling before, which is totally understandable if you read it. And that's what kind of makes this like a really fun read, and also kind of emotional, but yeah, in a really good way. I think I read this like 2 summers ago, but I still love this, and I think I might revisit it this summer because it was just so good. Next is Wildfire by Hannah Grace. I think I've also mentioned this like some of these books have already been mentioned in some videos of mine before, but I just love these so much. And this one follows Russ and Aurora, and they are both at the same university. They've never really met before there, but then one night they are together at a party and they hook up. Then they end up meeting again at a summer camp where Aurora always goes, and Russ goes there this year as well. And there they kind of meet again, and they have like this kind of instant love, which I really like. I love love at first sight, but they kind of don't really start it, and they are both camp counselors, and I just love those vibes. Honestly, this book has made me want to go to a summer camp as well and become a counselor there, so maybe one day. But I just love the vibes of that, and I love the kind of found family trope, because Aurora is really like home at the camp, and she's more close to the people there than her own family, because she kind of has family struggles. And that's like the only thing that I did not really like. There were a lot of like family struggles in this, and usually I'm fine with that, but it was kind of overdone. At some point it was like not really fun anymore. The overall vibes of this book were really good. The chemistry between the two main characters was really well done. The chemistry between the friends was good. And I just think that's the most important thing about a book, as long as it like has good vibes and it's easy to read and it's fun to read. It's not cringe, which is one of the most important things. That's like my main thing that gets me to stop reading a book, is if a book is cringe, but that wasn't this. So yeah, I really loved reading this, and I definitely think this is a must read. This is, right now I still have to read Daydream, but right now this is my favorite Hannah Grace book, and it's definitely good for the summer. Next is, I think, my favorite summer book, and maybe one of my favorite books in general ever, which is This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. This book follows Lucy, and she's from Canada, I think Toronto, and she has a best friend, and her best friend is from Prince Edward Island, and one day she goes to visit Prince Edward Island without her friend there, because she kind of needs an escape, and there she meets Felix. They kind of have like this instant connection, and he shows her around, and eventually they end up hooking up. But later on she finds out that he is actually her best friend's brother, so they kind of write each other off, and they're like, no, we can't do this anymore. Then she goes back to Toronto, and then her best friend is supposed to get married, but she kind of gets like cold feet, or she doesn't really know what happens, but she flees to her home in Prince Edward Island. So Lucy follows her, and there she kind of rekindles with Felix, and they kind of have struggles going on, but they have like this, they're both like madly in love with each other, and they want to be together, but they don't want to do it for the sake of their sister and best friend. And it just, I love kind of that type of romance. It's like insta love, they have history, they want to be together. It's like very much groveling, longing, and it's so well done in this. I just once again love the vibes of this book as well. It's once again like very coastal, Prince Edward Island. And also, I forgot to mention, they kind of meet each year again, because they go back to Prince Edward Island a lot before the wedding. So you kind of go back in time a few years when they first met, and then each year they like kind of be like, okay, we have to stay away from each other, but we can't. And then the wedding happens, and that's like, before that Lucy and Felix both had relationships, so therefore they couldn't really be together, and they hadn't seen each other in a long time, so that's why it was kind of complicated. But yeah, they do, I don't want to spoil this for you, but I only read books with a happy ending, and this definitely had one, and it was just really good. And I think, yeah, I might reread this again. I just love this so much. I'm really excited to read other Carly Fortune books as well. I will talk to you guys about that later, but this one was definitely a must read if you're into this kind of thing. Like, it's not really second chance romance, but it's more so finding each other, or right person, wrong time, and then finding each other again. And yeah, I think that's just so well done. And also best friend's brother, that's just one of my favorite tropes as well. So this is definitely a must read. The last one is kind of one I'm a little bit mixed about, as I've seen a lot of like good things about it, but I didn't like it as much as everyone liked it seemed. But I did like it, but there were just kind of like a few tiny things that were not really my thing, but overall the vibes were really good, which is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. And it's kind of weird. It's overall the book was really fun. I liked the vibes, but I did not like that the main character, she was very much like into her own struggles, and she kept going back. It was very kind of toxic in my opinion, like her relationship with her mother. And I feel like she was like there with her best friend. I would be very annoyed if I was the best friend, and also if I was the boy in this. It just wasn't my thing. And I just liked the whole relationship in this, like the them having a fling and kind of going on dates together. And I just love that it was very like cute, and also they just really liked each other. But she just didn't make it work in a way that made me really annoyed. And then obviously it ended up working out, so it's fine. But that was kind of annoyed me. But in general, the vibes of this book were really good, and I really loved Justin. Like, he was amazing. He was not the problem at all. Emma was. But yeah, the relationship was really cute. I loved the overall plot until like the drama came. It's also a really pretty cover as well. But yeah, just the vibes are really good, and the whole, yeah, the trope is fun, like the whole fling and going on dates. But yeah, the family drama was not really my thing. So now the books that I am planning on reading this summer. The first one is One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. I recently bought this when I was in London, and yeah, obviously I loved her other book, so I'm really excited to read this one and see what it's about. It seems like a really fun book. I'm not really entirely sure what it's about, but it's also giving coastal, so I'm definitely excited to read this and see what this is about. I also really want to read this book, First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. The story seems really original. I actually recently just found this like in the bookstore, and I thought this one looked really cute. But it's a single mom trope, and they kind of meet over a radio, and it's like this radio station dating, I guess, or dating show. And the radio host is like trying to find the main characters, like I think like her next man or a date or something. But they eventually end up kind of falling for each other, I think. I don't know, that's what the back says, but it seems really fun, and I just love how the book looks. That's like that really attracted me in the first place, like the color combinations. But yeah, this looks really fun, so I'm definitely excited to read that this summer. I also finally want to start on Daydream. I've been wanting to read this one for a really long time. I never got a chance to, and I finally have the book, so I think it will be really good. I've heard only good things about this, so I am really excited to start this as well. I think you guys know what this is about. It's about Henry, who is like already in the first two books as well, an Icebreaker and Wildfire, and it's finally his book, and then he meets like this bookish girl, and apparently it's about that, and apparently it's a really good book, so I'm so excited to read that this summer. So that was the video for today. I hope you guys liked it. If you have any other summer recommendations, please let me know, because I'm always looking for new books to read. This was just my list that I love, that are my favorites, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye.